Okay, so there are a lot of methods out there when it comes to creating t-shirts, but let's talk about the one that's not the best. Hey good people, if you're new here, my name is Alex, and in today's video, I want to talk about why the print and cut method is honestly not the best for starting t-shirts, especially if you want to do this for the long game. If you happen to be brand new to the t-shirt business industry, okay, let me just explain to you what the print and cut method is. So the print and cut method involves using heat transfer paper, involves using a heat press, and some type of vinyl cutter, whether you have a silhouette, cameo, or Cricut. Now, full disclaimer, before y'all start commenting, I only know the silhouette cameo. I don't know Cricut at all, okay? A lot of people ask me, can I do videos on the Cricut? But you guys, I know nothing about the Cricut, okay? I always use the silhouette cameo, so I just want to make that clear that this video is pertaining specifically to silhouette cameo users, okay? So if that's you, then hey, let's keep going. So when it comes to the print and cut method, it involves heat transfer paper. I've used before in the past the PPD brand, and then I just have a heat press and my silhouette cameo. But what a lot of people don't know is that this is a very time consuming and intricate method when it comes to making t-shirts. And I always think about, if you want to go big, if you want to do this for the long game, then you have to think about ways to work smarter and not harder, okay? So let's just dive into the pain points as to why the print and cut method isn't the best. So let's start with number one. Now, the first pain point when it comes to the print and cut method is the fact that you only get this 8.5 by 11 size when it comes to creating and cutting a design. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to make sure that the space I'm working on when it comes to actually making the design is going to be suitable for all sizes of shirt, okay? So when using this piece of paper and you're limited by 8.5 and 11 because same dimensions as copy paper, right? What happens is the bigger your t-shirt or your apparel product is, the smaller your design is going to look. Now that was something I noticed when I started using this about 2 years ago. I realized that if I were to use, like, let's just say a 2XL, right, for my customer, well, I only get 8.5 by 11 with this piece of paper. So if I'm thinking how I want my design to look, I want it to be, you know, across the chest. I want it to take up all of that shirt's real estate, okay, when it comes to being a wearable product. I don't want to be limited because this is going to look smaller on a bigger size t-shirt. So that could be a drawback because as of right now, they don't make this any bigger, right? So you're only going to get this size. Doesn't matter what orientation you lay it on, you're going to get this size. So whether you make something that's just horizontal or if you want something vertical, you have to keep that in mind that you can't expand anything outside of these dimensions. So I thought that was a con because, again, when you think bigger and you want to expand, there are t-shirt designs that take up the whole entire t-shirt, right? So just think about that. If this is a method that you've been interested in, I just want to let you know what you're going to run into, and I don't want anybody wasting their time and money, okay? So I'm hoping that this video helps you because I want to make sure that this type of content helps you prevent the mistakes that I made when I got started. So that's the first drawback. You're limited when it comes to designing, okay? You can only put this on this size paper because right now they don't make like a 10 by 10. They don't make a 12 by 12. So that can be a drawback, you know, getting started. Like I said, if you want to think about this for the long game. Okay, so the second pain point when it comes to using the print and cut method is that when you print out a design on your heat transfer paper, specifically what I've noticed with this type of paper, okay, I haven't tried all of the heat transfer papers, so I want you to know that I only know what I know using this one, which is the PPD. But with this particular paper, this smudges. You know how like when you write something with a permanent marker and your thumb accidentally, you know, brushes against it and now it smudges on the paper and it gets on your thumb a little bit? This does the same thing. And I think about when it comes to, again, you want to be able to create t-shirts to sell. You're in business to make money. You want to make sure that your customers don't have a t-shirt that when they wash it, the design is going to smudge, it's going to tarnish of some sort. So I thought that was the pain point because, again, this slows down your production. And if you want to go big and go better, right, with your t-shirt business, then just think about that when it comes to the type of paper that you buy. I always suggest that you experiment anyway, okay? So what I talk about may not be good for you, so please try what you think is going to be best for your business. But for this PPD paper, when I tell you it smudges real bad, okay? You don't want that to be on any type of product, let alone something you're trying to sell. Case in point, when I tell you it's going to slow you down, this is what I mean. So I have a newer cutting mat, so that's why it's really tacky. But this will slow me down. If I want to do this long term, okay, if I want to make multiple shirts using this method, this is gonna slow me down because now I have to peel off this design, and that's just too much work, okay? So this is what I mean. Perfect example about how this can slow you down for long term, you know, work production. Okay, so this third pain point is for my silhouette cameo users, okay? When I'm telling you that the registration marks are one of the biggest drawbacks when it comes to using the silhouette cameo, that is something that I know has been totally frustrating when it comes to using this machine. I love the silhouette cameo, and I am pretty biased, so I will tell you that right now. But child, when I tell you, if you don't get them right, you're gonna wanna throw your whole cameo away. Trust me, I get it. Now, about 2 years ago, I actually made a video on how to master registration marks if you really want to get them right. So I'll be sure to leave that video for you in case you do wanna check that out. But like with a lot of things, okay, you're gonna have your pros, you're gonna have your cons. The silhouette cameo gives you so much bang for your buck. You can make so many products, specifically when it comes to t-shirts. But if you don't master the registration mark technique and what that involves, this may be a huge like pain point for you because it's going to slow you down. So the registration marks with the silhouette cameo, honey, it's a hot mess sometimes, okay? Now I told you before, I am not in the business of BSing you. I wanna make sure that you know everything you need to know when it comes to, let's just say, this equipment. Now all of what I'm talking about as far as equipment and, you know, products, it's very easy to access now, okay? Because 2 years ago, this is when it was becoming more popular. But a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, you guys, the cameo, the heat press, the heat transfer paper, is super accessible. However, I just want to focus on the drawbacks of the print and cut method. So that way, again, you can avoid the mistakes I made, okay? I don't want you to do that. So the registration marks for the silhouette cameo can be a huge headache, okay? And if you don't want to master that, or if you feel frustrated about mastering it, this may be something that you want to consider when it comes to the method of creating t-shirts, so that way you know what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you have time for, and etc. Okay, so I've talked about the print and cut method before. I've made videos on using the PPD paper, how to apply it, all that good stuff. And it may still be a good method for you, but realistically, long term, this is not a sustainable business model when it comes to scaling your product. And that is honestly what this video is about, because when it comes to your t-shirt method, I personally think that getting started, you're gonna find out a lot of things, right? You're gonna discover some new things. You may realize that the way you start is not the way you want to finish, and etc. So again, when it comes to this particular method, I don't think that it's going to be the best long term, and it's not sustainable, because when you start a business, you then have to learn how to scale your product, scale your business. And the PPD paper specifically, this particular paper and the whole print and cut method can slow you down if you want to scale. So that's all I have to say about that. If you still want to find out about the PPD paper and, you know, the print and cut method, I'll go ahead and leave some videos here for you so that way you can check those out. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Subscribe if you are liking the vibe, and as always, I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Bye, y'all.